back on. Looking right here, our radius on example 3 is 5 square root of 2. Okay, here's our 45, here's our 45, there's our 90. We need to find the apothem, and then what we'll do is find this part here. What's going to help us is the opposite of the 90 is s square root of 2. And that tells us right here that s square root of 2 equals 5 square root of 2. So just like example 2, very similar right here, we divide by the square root of 2. We have that s is 5. So opposite of the 45 is s. We're going to go ahead and plug that in as 5. Opposite of the 45 here is s again, so that's 5, which means that our total length of this side would be 10. Good. So our perimeter, 10 is on one side. There's 4 of them. 10 times 4 is 40. Our apothem is 5. So now when I go plug this in, area will equal the perimeter, 40, times the apothem, 5, divided by 2. I can just use my calculator, plug all that information in, and we should get 100. Okay. 4. Find the area of a regular quadrilateral. Now what they're saying is that the radius is 4. This is going to bring up something slightly different. Just like before, that is s square root of 2. S square root of 2 equals 4. Now this isn't going to clean up so nice and neat like the previous ones did. We divide by the square root of 2. And now we're going to talk this the long way, but remember we have a shortcut to do this. We can jump to that pattern that always occurs. The long way is you multiply the top by the square root of 2 and multiply the bottom by the square root of 2. Across the top you have 4 square root of 2. On the bottom, when you multiply this out, you end up with the square root of 4, which is 2. Now remember, that's the shortcut pattern right there, is just jumping to that. Now what happens with 4 when you divide it by 2? It becomes 2. So we have 2 square root of 2. Our s is 2 square root of 2. So now, opposite of the 45, the apothem is supposed to be s, and we know now that the apothem, if it's s, it has to be 2 square root of 2. The side from here to here is also s, so that's 2 square root of 2. So this other half also has to be 2 square root of 2. Well, if I add these together, remember, just treat that as if it was 2x plus 2x. If you add those together, you would have 4x. So right here, we're going to have 4 square root of 2. So our perimeter, there's 4 sides that are 4 square root of 2. So that would be 4 times 4 square root of 2. And 4 times 4 is 16. And you still have the square root of 2. We have our perimeter. Now we're ready to plug it into our formula. Area equals perimeter, 16 square root of 2, times apothem, 2 square root of 2, and then divide by 2. Okay? Now, when you multiply this out, this is saying 16 times the square root of 2 times 2 times the square root of 2. We will multiply 16 times 2. And let me go ahead and say divided by 2 also. 16 times 2 is 32. But we also have to multiply the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. Which, just like we did up here, it's a square root of 4, which turns into 2. So it would be times 2 divided by 2. Now, from this point, you can go ahead and multiply it times 2, but what's going to happen as soon as you divide it? It's going to take you right back to 32. So our answer there for our area is 32. So even though it started off and we got some square roots and it got a little crazy, okay, it brings us right back to a whole number, nice and neat. Any questions? Yes, sir. All right, example 5. We don't have a picture here. That's our job to draw it. Find the area of a square, and the perimeter is 96. How are you going to take the square, and just knowing the perimeter being 96, how are you going to take it and figure out what each side is?
Divide by 4.
We can divide by 4. Okay, which gives me what for each side length?
24.
So each side length is 24. Now, being smart, it is a square. What can we do right here to figure out the area?
24 times 24.
24 times 24. We could just do that. 24 times 24. What do you get?
5 centimeters.
What is it?
1,150.
1,000 what?
1,000. Wait.
I don't know. I did it the Popham way, and I got a different answer.
All right, so 576. Is that what y'all got? All right. So that's what we're thinking. We're going to do it the Apothium way. What we need to know is what is the apothem right here. All right. So this half is 12. Well, opposite of 45 is S, so that tells me right now S is 12. And then opposite of this 45 degree where our apothem is, that's going to be 12 also. So our apothem is 12 and our perimeter is 96. Okay, well, 96 times 12 divided by 2. And you do that on your calculator, you still get your 576.
Like 12 times